Travel the World with Joy series. Are you someone seeking radiant health, inner peace, and a return to the immortal garden within? Story title: The Traveler and the Whispering Bag. A metaphor for releasing anxiety and unlocking radiant health. Written and narrated by me, Shaheen Gideon. You're walking down a winding sunlit path, somewhere between memory and dream, where trees seem to remember your name and the sky opens just for you. You're on a journey, and as you move, you notice something. A bag is tied around your shoulder. It's not very large, but it's heavy. Heavier than it looks. It's been with you so long you forgot it was even there. Until now. As you walk, the path begins to incline. Just a little. Each step, a bit more effort. The bird song becomes fainter, the breeze slows, and you realize this bag is filled with whispers. Not just any whispers, but the whispers of what if, and I should have, and will it ever be okay? It's a bag of anxious futures and unfinished stories. Now you're standing before a small wooden gate. It's the entrance to a vast garden, a place you visited in dreams, a place where time folds gently like petals of light. And to enter, you must remove the bag. But here's the twist. Every time you try to untie it, it slithers back around, because this bag is clever. It was crafted from your nervous system, from old loops and learned echoes. The knot is made of repetition. It won't untie through force, only through understanding. So, you stop. You sit down beneath a fig tree, and you begin to listen to the bag. You don't fight it, you just breathe. And something curious happens. One of the whispers speaks. I was only trying to keep you safe. And you feel that deep, because anxiety was never the enemy. It was a younger version of you doing its best, a body trying to protect a mind it didn't fully understand, a mind trying to predict a future it didn't need to control. And in that moment, you say, thank you, but I choose to walk without you now. And the bag, it falls off, not dropped, not forced, just no longer necessary. You walk through the gate, and in this flawless garden, you feel light, not just in your body, but in your bones, as if your very DNA remembered its original blueprint. Before stress, before fear, before you were taught to carry bags, you walk barefoot, and the ground gives back energy. You touch a leaf, and it tingles with life. You breathe, and your lungs remember Eden. This isn't fiction. This is neuro truth, a signal planted in your system. And the more you revisit this garden, the more your cells align with health, vitality, and immortality's scent. Anxiety isn't pushed away, it's transmuted into clarity, into presence, into peace. And the bag? Well, it's now a butterfly hovering somewhere behind you. It may follow for a while, but it no longer leads. You do, because you remember now, the path to heaven is walked barefoot, with empty hands and a full heart, and you are already walking. Let's now go to part 2 of this momentum we are building. My story is designed to build momentum, emotional healing, and somatic release. It weaves subtle Jedianics pacing, embedded commands, and layered storytelling, ideal for healing anxiety and anchoring health, radiance, and the garden traveler identity. The Clockmaker's Orchard. A healing story for reclaiming time, energy, and the eternal body. Written and narrated by me, Shaheen Gideon. There was once a traveler not unlike you, who woke one morning with a hum behind his ribcage, a low, quiet thrum, like a clock ticking backward, or perhaps forward. It was hard to tell. He had always felt like time was running him, as if every moment was slipping just slightly out of reach. He was often early to worry, late to relax. He stored future fears behind his eyes and yesterday's regrets in his shoulders. One night, unable to sleep, he wandered beyond the village hills and found himself in a part of the forest he didn't know existed. The trees here were ancient, but not old. They carried youth like a secret, as if time, in this place, was a circular river, not a straight road. In the center stood a man with silver hair and hands of copper. He was winding something, a clock, a fruit, a star. The traveler watched, unsure, until the man finally looked up and said, "Ah, there you are. I've been waiting for you to catch up to yourself." The traveler blinked. "Do I know you?" "No," said the man, smiling. "But you know me. You've met me every time your heart beat faster than the moment required. I am the clockmaker. I fix time. But only when people are ready to fix their relationship to it." He gestured to a nearby orchard, filled with fruit trees that grew clocks instead of apples. One tree bore watches made of rose quartz. Another grew sundials carved from honeyed stone. And beneath each tree lay people, resting, smiling, not sleeping but being restored. "This," said the clockmaker, "is the orchard of right timing. Everyone who comes here is carrying a disease. The disease of rushing, the anxiety of missing, the pain of not yet or not enough. But when they lie beneath their tree, they sync with their divine time again." The traveler stepped forward, but hesitated. "I don't know which tree is mine." The clockmaker pointed, not to the trees, but to the traveler's chest. "The tree finds you when you stop trying to be on time and instead allow time to be in you." And so he waited, and in that stillness, his breath slowed, his thoughts softened, his body stopped anticipating the next thing and began inhabiting the now. Then, a soft vine slithered from the ground and gently wrapped around his wrist. It tugged just once, and he followed. There stood a tree made of breath. Its trunk rose and fell like a chest inhaling. Its leaves shimmered like whispered moments, and its fruit was made of light. He lay beneath it, and for the first time in years, maybe lifetimes, he felt himself being breathed by life, by the divine, by the part of himself he forgot how to listen to. He didn't fall asleep. He fell into the present, into wholeness, into his real timeline, the one where health regenerates, energy is not drained by the future, and anxiety no longer robs the now. When he finally opened his eyes, the clockmaker was gone, but on his palm was the soft imprint of a tree ring, a spiral, not a countdown, but a spiral upward. He stood, taller, lighter, slower, yes, but clearer, his body now a compass, his soul now aligned, and in the distance, a path had formed, not paved, not forced, but ready. And the traveler walked forward, not chasing time, but carrying peace, because something had changed. Time now walked with him. Here are the next entries in our Travel the World with Joy series, a healing narrative journey for vitality, timelessness, and soul-deep peace. Each story is embedded with Jedianic-style subtle shifts, metaphors, timeline rewiring, and deep angelic guidance. Story 3. The river that was once a vein. Healing circulation, movement, and emotional flow. They say the river once began inside a single being, that long ago, when the earth was young, it was not water that carved canyons, but emotion. Somewhere inside your body, yes, yours, there is a current that remembers how to move. When you let go of needing to control where it flows. In this story, a woman named Lena walked through life as if her joints were gates, each decision a pressure valve, each choice tightening or releasing something unseen. One day, her legs refused to walk forward, not from injury, but from too many moments never felt. Too many uncried tears hardened into heaviness in her knees. That night she dreamt of a river. It had her mother's voice, her father's rhythm, and her child's self's laughter. The river spoke, "Flow with me, or freeze alone." She followed it. At first the water resisted her body. Then her body began to remember it was water. The river was not just outside her, it was a mirror for her blood, her breath, her boundaries, and with every step downstream, old grudges washed away. Anxieties she never named dissolved, until she reached a wide bend where the water formed a heart. There she lay down, and from the mud sprang wings made of mist, and she heard the angel of circulation whisper, "It is not speed that makes a journey sacred. It is the uninterrupted permission to feel and move." She awoke, her legs soft, her heart open, and every day since, she walks like a river, turning every hallway, every meeting, every moment into a current of joy. Tarry for the breath maker of the Emerald Dunes, clearing the lungs, grief, and overwhelm. Beyond the last desert, before the stars begin to speak, there is a place no map can find unless you've held your breath too long. They say the breath maker lives there, an angelic presence who does not speak in words, but in inhalations. Elian was a man of many talents, except exhaling. He carried the grief of 2 generations in his diaphragm. He mistook stillness for laziness, silence for danger, and every breath was a negotiation with the unknown. One day, his chest clenched so tight he could not sleep, so he walked toward the edge of the dunes, drawn by something lighter than air. There the sands began to glow green, each grain a memory he hadn't yet forgiven. The breathmaker appeared, her face hidden behind a veil of wind. "You cannot fly," she said, "while holding your wings inside your lungs." Then she placed one palm on his chest, another on his back, and whispered, not a word, but a breath that echoed back to his first. Suddenly, Elian's body remembered what it was like to be safe in the inhale and innocent in the exhale. He cried, not from sadness, but because something ancient in him had been waiting to be released. And with every tear, his lungs expanded. His grief softened into gratitude. His breath became a song. Now when he walks, people often stop him and ask, "What is that scent? That lightness? That presence?" He just smiles, because the breathmaker's gift still lives in his ribs, a secret called peace. Story 5. The Garden Beneath the Bed. Returning to childhood wonder, body safety, and joy. There once was a girl named Luma who thought the world was full of monsters, but she wasn't afraid of them. She just knew they were misunderstood. Her parents said, "There's nothing under the bed," but Luma knew better, because when she lay still enough, she heard music from beneath the mattress, a harp, a heartbeat, a hum of healing. One night, she climbed down and whispered, "If you're a monster, eat my fear." And the garden answered, "Child, I am not here to scare you. I am here to remind you, you planted me." Beneath her bed was a lush world, moss made of memories, trees of giggles, a stream of ideas waiting to grow into songs. Each time Luma felt anxious in the real world, she would close her eyes and return to that garden, and each time something new had bloomed. A lion made of lavender, a pillow that taught her how to say no, a mirror that showed her how beautiful courage looks. Luma grew up, but the garden never disappeared. Now she helps others remember, the safest place is not above or below you, it's inside, where your roots still hum lullabies. Story 6. The Wingmaker's Mirror. Releasing judgment, activating sovereignty, embodying the flawless soul. In a hall of mirrors, a traveler once stood, seeing not herself, but her critics. Every mirror showed a version of her shaped by others' expectations, until she noticed one mirror had no reflection. Instead, it glowed, She stepped into it and fell through clouds, through moments she'd forgotten to forgive, through versions of herself she never dared to love. And when she landed, she was in a field. There stood the wingmaker, a radiant being with feathers made of ancient prayers and quiet victories. He handed her a feather, forged from her own timeline. "You must choose now," he said. "Fly with who you are, or remain grounded by who you're not." With trembling breath, she took the feather and pressed it to her chest. And suddenly, wings grew, not on her back, but from her spine of decisions. Each vertebrae lit up with truth. Each beat of her wings said, "I am no longer confused by the reflections of the world. I am the mirror that reflects Eden." She flew, and the wingmaker whispered to the winds, "When one soul rises in sovereignty, the garden opens for all."